Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Heyo.
Everybody, how
Oh,
you doing? Welcome
wait,
to the
I can
show.
hear my voice back.
Sorry, that was me. I forgot to
Okay.
mute my television.
Ah, that was it. I was like, what's going on? I was like, I can hear my.
Sorry,
It actually scared
that's
me when I hit
that was on me.
launch. When I hit launch, like everything popped up except for our two camera feed, and they were like, it was like a split second, and it was like, oh, here we are. I was just
Yeah,
like, oh dear God. so,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, long story short, I have changed computer hardware, so I had to set absolutely everything back up again, like from
Hmm.
like the lights, because they're all controlled by the computer. They're the Elgato key light airs, and I've got
Right.
like all the stuff and like all the stream settings, and just yeah, I was like, whoa. So Mark and I got on early, and we've been hammering through it. So
Yay. Jono, what I've realized, maybe I need to move my camera. Darn, now I can't see my fancy lights I got.
no, you got fancy lights, and you can't. Maybe you need to like bring the lights down in the room, put a light on you, and throw those
Well,
fancy lights up like behind
yeah,
you.
I know. Here's the thing: is my ring light's right here, right? So I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this. I actually need to get a smaller tripod so I can put this behind my monitor, or I probably move the monitor. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you can get if you don't if you have a smaller tripod or what I use for my camera setup because I've got like my Sony camera up here.
Yeah.
I use actually the mics. If you go to like a music store, they'll have
Mhm.
the mics for the drums. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So like
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah,
super heavyweight bass, but they're small because you want to get that mic as close as you can to a drum set, especially like the kick drums.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they're just a
I
short,
get,
and they're
yeah.
just tall enough to get clear. And you could just the top has a standard screw mount, so you just change
Hmm.
the to a
Yeah,
ball
yeah,
head, and
yeah,
you're done. Like as long as you can
yeah,
tilt it, it's
yeah.
the best, and they're usually cheap. They're like $20 or less.
Right.
I
Yeah,
guarantee you'll
I
find
need
them
to
on
get.
Amazon.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like I need to get probably I need to get a cord box as well. I gotta get a cord box, and I want to get one more light so I can put two of them this way. Oh yeah,
My
sugar free.
the sugar, dude, I always do the
Monster
sugar-free monsters.
Ultra.
Yeah, I always do the ultras. You get it
Yikes! It's the
all. It's all.
fake
Oh,
monster.
dude, it's good. It's all written in Chinese, man. It's great. It's Chinese monster.
That's Chinese monster. It's more guai. No, it's not. That would be so corny if they called it that.
Called it. Yeah, they changed it to like. Oh my gosh.
It would be
Anyway,
so corny. How's everybody doing?
yeah, we got a few. Man, we got a couple people in here. Let's see. Oh, we got Razvan. We got Stu. We got DJ. We got Ho Chi Young. We've
Yeah.
got
We got Starseed.
Oh yeah, we got DJ.
Starseed's here.
Luke
Yeah.
Riot's here on.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Look at this. Look at this.
Herman.
So many
Wow.
people.
Got the crew. Good.
I think it's because we were gonna talk about,
China, China,
you know,
China.
China. And everybody's like super like, oh my God, they're gonna
Well,
talk about China. Let's go.
get ready. We're gonna get shadow banned or shadow
Yeah.
thumb down.
Hey DJ, I'm good. Jono, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm just
Awesome.
living the dream. Like I said, I spent this whole week like setting up my like when you get a new computer rig,
Hmm.
you just don't even realize the stuff you have to move over. It's
Oh,
just like,
yes, I believe you.
jeez,
I
man.
believe you. I believe you. No, yeah, yeah, when I got this, when I got the my Mac Mini that I'm running off right now, it was strange how little and how much I had to like move over from my old computer.
Yeah,
It's
for
just
Windows
like,
the same way because I use OneDrive, so like
mhm,
everything just kind of just showed up,
yeah,
and I was like, okay, this is like the first time I've ever set up a computer where I didn't
yeah.
have to like go through IT nightmare mode. And for those of you, I think I've said it before. I started my career off as a computer tech. I mean, like, and then I moved up the teching world, became manager, and all that
Mhm,
crap. So that was a long time ago. I mean, long
yeah.
time ago, like long time ago. Like I won't even tell you Windows 2000. Anyway, so
Windows 2000? Did you use
yes.
NT?
Yes, NT to two. I was like,
Ew.
I slid in
Gross.
on the backside of NT. So really, my like when I got to the point of like doing server stuff, things like that, and a lot of desktop deployments, it was Windows 2000 or
Mm.
that the like, and then XP and all that. So,
Did you have the joy of dealing with me and Vista?
oh my God, we okay. Me was skipped. Windows Millennium Edition. Oh my God, that thing was terrible. And then
Oh God.
everybody bypassed. Vista was like a flaming turd train wreck. So. Oh my God. Vista was like
Really?
the worst.
Razvan, you prefer me Jeez, like I remember when my dad got Emmy because like the computer store guys said, "Oh, this is the latest and greatest." They didn't even really feel it out yet.
Yeah.
And then he was running Windows ME for a while. It's because their big thing at the time was, oh, it'll automatically back up your computer, right?
Hmm.
And then it never worked, and it actually screwed your computer up, and it just like duplicated stuff. It was just garbage. Uncle Alan
Alan here
is
dropping
in
in.
the
Yeah,
chat.
Alan and I
Look
have
at this
have
guy.
similar backgrounds. Yeah, 311 work group, and then like I refused to migrate off 98 from a desktop. I was like,
Yeah.
no. I was like 98. I went from 98 to XP. I just skipped every other hunk of junk in between.
Oh, for
So
sure. Like so my dad literally he took the computer back to the computer store. And then when he walked in, like this was still back in Hong Kong, like the two guy, the manager of the store said, "We know why you're here. We will we will downgrade your computer back to 98 for you for free."
that was a huge thing back then. Like people
It's so bad.
getting new because they were force feeding you ME on a new build, and you were downgrading. Like people would pay like get a new machine, and you would image the downgrade back on. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Oh my god. No, Herman, we're not doing the Laowai Serpenta or whatever it is. So they call him Serpents, but everybody thinks it's Serpent USA. He's actually South African.
Mm. Oh
Serpenza.
yeah, I know which guy that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He used to be
yeah.
like a English teacher in China,
Yeah.
and then he whoa, some of his videos, man, woohoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very spicy. Very, very spicy. I know exactly who
I
that
remember
is.
like fun story about being a computer geek. I worked in a manufacturing company. It's one of my first like real like corporate IT job. I was one of the computer guys that run around and fix everybody's stuff. And I bought a new computer case. And we were running. So what we did was we did compressors, generators, power washers. We actually did pretty much almost every power washer you could buy, every compressor you could buy in any of the home improvement stores. All of them, every brand name we actually made for the companies. And we had a powder coating. Like they would do all the powder coating, the big, huge air compressors. You know, these big metal tanks, these steel tanks. They run through the powder coating. So whenever they run a cool color for like one of the OEM brands, I'd go take my computer case out there and have the guy sandblast it for me and then run it through the powder coater. Because like back then you didn't have colored cases. Like if you wanted a colored case, you had to like hand spray paint it or get automotive paint and
Yeah.
I hand cut a
Make a
window.
mess.
I hand cut a window. I remember ordering this like literally with like a Dremel and this is stupid computer guy way back in the day. Anyway, you guys didn't want to hear. Yeah, everything was beige. Like it was just that ugly office beige color.
Yeah. Or like IBM were the only people doing black.
Black, yeah, the black idea.
So edgy. IBM, International Business Machine.
Yeah, or Compaq had those things that were white and they had a little bit of color down the front.
Oh yeah.
Compaq.
They're so
Oh,
edgy.
God.
Oh my
Jeez,
goodness.
man.
Hey.
Anyway,
Welcome to Old Man Cast.
yes, welcome to back in my day we had CD players and we liked it. We would
So
burn CDs.
before we get into the great paper tiger
The
of the
spicy,
East.
yeah, the spicy. It's
No.
spicy-ish. It's actually true, so it's not really spicy.
What are you drinking tonight?
Well, I got a couple things, and I think, well, first of all, I'll show. I've got
Okay, always a good choice.
little Okinawan. This is what clearing was it the cold and clear
Yeah, always a good
Orion
choice.
draft from Okinawa.
Okinawa is always a good choice.
That's always safe. And then since we talked about it last episode, the Kiwis are gone. There's like the they do the big boys for us, man.
Yes.
Why is yours so small?
Because I got two, so I got this one,
Oh,
and I
okay.
have a new kind of like a lemon chuhai from Suntory. It said new on it.
New, which means it's the same as put in a new can. Yeah, like
Probably.
these, they only do these in tall boys here. I think it's just maybe more efficient to ship or whatever.
Chupa chop strawberry. Yes.
So which one first? You want to do the peach? You want to do a
Let's
double
do the
comparison?
peach.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
we'll do
Let's
the
do it.
peach.
All right. I'm not a huge fan of peach though. That's the thing. So I was like, I reluctantly got it, but like all that was left is peach and now pineapple, and the pineapple's even hard to find.
I would kick myself in the butt if I didn't get this peach because it's coming to the end of peach
Yeah.
season here.
Dude, it smells like peach. Woo!
Oh, it's peachy, all right.
Wow, that is okay.
But
not artificial tasting at all.
yeah, I was
It's
about to
real.
say
It
it
tastes like-
doesn't taste like that fake peach.
No, it tastes like real peach, and I'll give them that. Like,
Yeah.
I can do it. I mean, like you almost get the taste of the skin. You know, you get the fruit, and then the
Hmm.
skin adds a little extra punch. You know, that's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. For peach, acceptable. And if you guys like peach,
Hmm.
wish I had a peach emoji button I could pop up on the screen. You'll love this. So a
Yeah.
little too girly for me. I mean, I'll drink it because it's tasty, but you know, probably won't grab another one of these. Kiwi, on the other hand, and these are only 5%. You notice that?
Yes.
I think the
Yes, you're right.
kiwis.
Actually, I didn't look at the
I
percentage
think
on
the
this.
kiwi 7. Hmm.
The kiwi was definitely stronger than this.
Yeah,
I think the kiwi was 7.
I think kiwi 7. I didn't get the pineapple yet because the pineapple always disappoints.
Yeah, it's always a hit and miss with
Yeah,
pineapple.
pineapple just I don't know. Oh man. So anyway, that's our round one drinks. We'll pound through them and
Mm-hmm.
work into
Mm-hmm.
the second. What
Yeah.
else, man?
Yeah.
Oh, real quick. Last night, producer and I went and did a late night showing of Bullet Train.
Nice. Was it
It
ridiculous?
was ridiculously entertaining. It was absolutely. Have you seen it yet?
No.
It is
I have not been to the cinema here.
okay. I would say totally worth going to see. It's just
Yeah.
it's kind of fun, wacky, you know, over the top, like Brad Pitt playing that goofy-ish kind of character where he's kind of probably okay. He's basically the same type character from his Mr. and Mrs. Smith role. It's kind of
Mm,
that
right.
role. Yeah, I'm with you too on Winky. Everything's funny except the snake. The snake's a little just, you know. I think
They had
they
to have snakes
over.
on a train. Okay.
Yeah, but they really overplayed up the snake. That was like the only thing. They overplayed up the snake. But short of that, I think they could have just dropped it in later and did one of the flashbacks. They
Yeah.
over piped it. You're scared of snakes, but
The funny thing is, like, we were playing the trailer in the office,
mhm.
and then some of our Japanese, colleagues and some of our ladies actually asked us, is this really what like foreigners think Japan is like? Like the Shinkansen doesn't even look the same.
No, it's not even. It doesn't
It's
even look like
it's
that.
not
Yeah.
even the same. We don't even have these facilities. Like the foreigners really think Japan is like this? Like, is this like, and then Ryan was like, yeah, this is probably a movie made by a white dude who's never ever been to Japan. And the only experience he's had about Japan is watching Fast and Furious
That's
Tokyo
Tokyo
Drift.
Drift.
Yeah. That's what everybody thinks Japan is like. They watch anime and then Tokyo Drift. And they think this is what Japanese daily life is. You go underneath a bridge and you go to these car meets, and then you have some random English speaker. Let me tell you, it doesn't happen like that.
Filmed in LA, built 3 train cars. Yeah, it's
Oh,
definitely yeah. It's I can believe it's a comic. It has the vibe that it's definitely making fun of itself in a good way,
yeah.
a really good way. It's hilarious. It's a little over the top. The cameos are fantastic. I'm not going to give away too many of them. I'll just say that Channing Tatum's character, his little cameo, I will say that is effing hilarious. It's just that little snippet of him the couple times throughout is just too good. But yeah, worth it, worth a watch. I mean, I've seen some like it's mediocre movies. This one's if you just want to check out for a couple hours and just be entertained with like over the top action and humor, it's a winner.
Mm.
Yeah.
なるほどね.
So
Interesting.
totally worth it. Oh man. All right. What else, man? What else you been doing?
Oh man, I had a very eventful weekend. Like before we get into the serious stuff, oh man, let me
I know
recap my
we're trying to
weekend.
ease everyone in. I was like,
Yeah.
how do I
Let me
start this?
recap my weekend. So Friday night, I was a good human being and I stayed home. So Saturday was two of my friends' birthday, and so we went back to my local watering hole. Shout out to Henrietta. So like I go there and I was there just kind of hanging out, and I was waiting for the party to arrive. And so my two friends, they kind of they're in a group of guys. They're older guys. They're like celebrating their 52nd or 53rd birthday. Older guys, and they these two guys, birthday boys, uh, they run a yakiniku place in Namba, and then their friends. runs the local yakisoba place in Zurhashi. So they always come as a group. So
Okay.
it's like the food group, the food boys. Whenever they roll up to the bar, they always got like bento boxes worth of like yakisoba, some okonomiyaki, some finger food, and they always bring it to the bar. It's always like on the house and they bring it to the bar. So it's always fun when they show up. So and they're there all the time. So they're there at the bar and they all come in, they're already like half drunk. They're just lit already. And so there's a two, it's two floors at the bar. So there's like standing bar on the bottom, kind of sitting bar on top. So they go upstairs. And then we just start hearing like a ruckus upstairs and we're just having a good time. And I was like, oh, what's going on? So then, we sing happy birthday. We bring him up a bottle of champagne. Me and the owner, Benjamin, bring him up a bottle of champagne. We're just having a good time. And then one of the guys come down and then they request It's My Life by Bon Jovi. And
Okay.
this is a signifier because when they play It's My Life, the guys put on like a Chip and Dale show in the
Uh,
bar. I'm not joking, bro. They took the clothes off, man. I sent the video to the producer. The producer's like, what am I looking at right now? What is going on?"
Mark, where are you going?
I'm
We
like,
need to talk about our
the whole time
relationship.
I was like, what is going on? Why are y'all taking your clothes off? Put it back on. Put it on. And so, it got to the point like, it's my life. And then, the guy took off his shirt and they're posing, And dude, for 50-year-old dudes, these guys super ripped. I'm not even joking. Like one of the guys is still a model here. Okay. Like, not gonna lie. If I can look like that when I'm 50, please. I would love to. Anyways, so they're getting to this point where it's like, and then they get to the final part where Bon Jovi kind of kicks it up an octave. They grab their pants and they got stripper pants and they throw their pants off and they're wearing leopard print underwear at the bar. And I'm like, what is going on?
Did anybody know this was gonna happen? Like, did
No
the
one knew
bar
this was gonna
owner
happen.
like? Is there like?
We were like, no one knew this was gonna happen. All the ladies was just screaming, like, "Oh my
Oh
god!"
my
Like,
lord,
like the
lordy
ladies,
lordy!
the ladies were screaming. We were like, "Oh yeah!" And
I got the vapors.
All of us were screaming. We were like, "Oh my god, that is leopard print underwear."
That was planned.
What in the hell, yo?
Jay just joined the chat. He's like, I just tuned in and heard leopard print underwear. Jay just
Yeah,
like it's one of those where you open the door, like, hey, what's going on?
yeah,
Oh,
leopard
never
print
mind,
underwear in
never
the
mind.
middle of the bar.
Just close the door and head out.
So,
Jay, we'll see you in
so
episode 50. We're sorry. just run.
so it's crazy. So and then like so I'm like I'm there like, oh my god. No, it's not the ladies, bro. No, yeah, the ladies were making it rain. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Anyway, so so it gets to the point where they took the pants off, right? Like they got their underwear out, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need another drink. So I turn around and I drink, and I hear this sound. One guy pulled his pants down, so he's showing his ass. And then the other guy just went like, "Woo," and all the ladies are like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "What the hell is going on?" I'm like, "Oh, save me!" Yeah,
Okay.
that was my Saturday.
Well, I cannot top that. I
Oh
went to the
man,
gym. That's all I got. And watched a movie. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
yeah,
Magic Mike.
that
Yeah.
was that was something.
Wow. Okay. So I
Yeah,
don't even know what to
so
say. I don't
then
even know. Like that. Thank you guys for joining episode 49. It's been
I
fantastic.
guess we're not talking
See
about
you
China tonight.
we're not. We're gonna see you next week. No, no, don't leave. Don't leave.
Oh man.
Um. Wow. I don't know how to follow that. I really don't.
Well, like, and then Sunday happened, right? So then Sunday,
The
Sunday, I
Saturday.
just
You're not even done
and
yet.
that was
We
Saturday.
we
I'm
got
not even
more.
done yet. So then Sunday happens. The Sunday was a bit of a emotionally taxing day. It was my grandpa's going away party.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not gonna get into it, but if you know what it is, you know what it is. So it was his going away party, and so everybody was kind of touch and go. Um, and then the night before, while we were still at the leopard print party, because some of the guys got together, I was like, hey, let's go get some burgers tomorrow. Like, let's, meet up tomorrow, do something. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I didn't know what time, everything was going to kind of go down. So like in the middle of me going to get, something to eat, getting a burger, um, the 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 going away party happened. So like I was on the phone with the producer and so on, and she was FaceTiming me through that. But anyway, so after that, I was just telling her, I was like, I think I gotta cleanse the palate a little bit. So we kind of, group of us kind of hung out. A couple of us guys, we went to the castle park, castle grounds and so on. We just kind of hung out, just,
I thought you were gonna say you were gonna go leopard print underwear shopping.
no, no,
I
no,
was waiting
no,
for that. I was like,
no.
I had to cleanse the palate. I went leopard print underwear shopping. I'm good now.
No, 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 no. I'm not that hardcore. Jeez. I don't know if I can ever be as manly as these two guys.
Magic Mark.
So, later on, we were all kind of like going back to Benjamin's place, had a few drinks here, we're still chatting, kind of hanging out around the area. And then on the way out, one of my friends was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this other bar is doing like this, live music event," and I posted it on my Instagram. So that place is actually a surfer bar. Like, but it's funny, all the people, all the surfers that go to that bar are kind of like older guys as well. So like in their late 40s, early 50s, like everyone there was like, there was not like a young person to be seen. I think I was the youngest one there, and so it was a good time. All these people super nice. I've seen several of them before, but what was really cool is I met this group of older guys, this group of oji-san, and they go to a boxing gym, and so they do boxing, and they're these sweet old Japanese dudes, and then they go boxing every other day together. And I just thought it was the cutest thing. And so one of the guys, his English
Until
was
you talk
really good.
smack and get knocked out.
Yeah, I know. And then like so one of the guys, his English was really good. And then he comes and talks to me. He's like, "Hey, if you ever wanted to come to our boxing gym, I'd take you." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Can I go and not have to cover up and have?" And they're like, "Yeah, we don't care." So I got an in on that one. But what was even better was the guy who was talking to me. He's the owner of a yakiniku place in the middle of like K-Town, downtown, like K-Town, Zurashiza. That's Koreatown in Osaka. And the market there is usually where Masaki goes to get some of the best beef at crazy prices, cheap prices, but some really, really good beef is you can get it right there in the market. So all of the beef that he serves is super fresh. So I was just chit chatting with him, and I said, "Hey, it'd be cool if I can go. I'll definitely come down and to your restaurant and try it out one day." And I said, like, "Hey, would it be cool if I can kind of film a little bit?" He said, "Oh yeah, totally fine." And I was like, "Would it be cool if I took time one day and started really early and I film your whole process of prep?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's totally fine." So we may have a really, really special episode of Rediscover coming up really soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
backstage access, boys. Yeah. And he's a super sweet guy, and can't wait to do this. I'm really jazzed about this. So
Well, dude, that sounds freaking cool. Like, I would love
yeah.
to go see that.
Mm,
I can't wait
that's
for
one
us
of
to
the
get there. When I get in town, we're gonna film. We gotta find
yeah.
time to film something,
We will go. We will do that. We'll go film something.
and then you gotta come here. We can film something.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah, I do have to do that.
I know.
Do gots to go there.
I know. Oh man, let's see. I think it's about all I got for like updates and craziness, and I mean it's just been for me work, work, work. I've got a new project. I finally
Uh-huh.
okay, that project I showed you,
Hmm.
that
Is
thing.
it done?
I got my last sample in and it's ready.
Hmm.
It's ready. Not to tease you, but it's literally like this, I got two bookshelves here. I got this bookshelf and one above it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then like the next bookshelf up, it's on that bookshelf up there, the second one. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, the final sample is good. So I'll be placing the
Hmm.
order this week and I'll have those out. So yeah. I've sent a couple pictures to like family back home, like my nephew, and he's like, "Oh my god, you got to send me one of those when you get it." So like, they look like they turned out so good, So good.
Nice,
And
nice.
I just spent the weekend working on new patches too. So I got
Hmm.
a new design I'm working on. And the designs I showed you, they're
Hmm.
gonna ship. They shipped today or tomorrow.
Hmm.
Well, they're shipping this week. So I'll have them like within a week.
Yeah.
So I'll have those too.
Hmm.
So
Sorry, guys. I'm looking off on my phone because my cousin who lives in Kyoto, he got tested positive for COVID,
ah,
and so my aunt's a little bit worried, and so I'm
we've
just
all been there.
yes, I know, but you know, with
Eh.
grandpa's going away party yesterday, everybody's a
Mm.
bit touch and go. So she's been texting me about like, hey, is there a way we can send a care package to him? Is there a government organizations that help facilitate this? You know, and we're just kind of going back and forth a little bit on this one. So I'm just don't worry, guys. I let her know that I'm gonna call. I'm
Well, we
we
can
have some colleagues.
we can
We got
hit the
some
high
colleagues.
points and then we can wrap a little
No, that's
early
fine.
tonight
That's okay.
because
I already told her because the thing is like we also have some colleagues who tested COVID positive during summer holiday, so they're coming back tomorrow. So it I told her it easy peasy. I'll ask them tomorrow like how did they deal with it? Like did they just Uber Eats the whole time? You know, so probably they did. You
yeah.
know, but yeah, it'll be okay. So it's all good. I'll sort it.
So yeah. So yeah, man, all my product updates, like I said, basically I got three new patches coming in and this new product. Can't wait. They'll be ready. I will see how many of them I can stuff in my suitcase to
Mhm.
bring for the show. I know like they'll be the hot ticket item if I bring them to Japan.
Yes. So people will be like, you know, if they get it, they get it. They don't, they
You've
don't.
got to be like you have to be English speaking to
Hmm.
get it. Like
Yes.
that the joke only works if you're English speaking. So
Yes. It's kind of like ye in your last haw.
yeah, you eat your last haul. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like if you guys have been watching our Lilacs channel, the Japanese one, our OG one, we've been doing some comparisons between like, you know, West like overseas players, Western players, basically Americans, you know, versus how Japanese people, you know, react when we play airsoft. Go check it out. I'm just gonna say, go check it out. I think I should get an Oscar for for
Hey,
at least
I will
for at least
film
one
one
of
of
them.
those with you when
Yes.
we come. Let me be like, like I'll love to play the overly aggressive American airsoft player. Like you just gotta basically just bleep out every like 8 out of 10 words that I say, just bleep them out, and it'll just be great.
Yes, exactly. Or you're just overly dramatic.
The overly dramatic Milsim player.
Just the overly dramatic airsoft player is a caricature of how Americans play airsoft. Period.
True, true. Yeah, you gotta do the
Oh man.
physical. Yeah, always. Yeah, I played enough. Oh my god, against this kind of people. All right, but yeah, so there's that. Like I said, I keep teasing this new product.
Mhm.
Once it's in production, I will absolutely show you. Once it's ready to
Yeah.
go, I'll show you. Like this is something I'm like, I'm pretty. I never thought in my whole life I would say, "Hey, what do you do?" Well, I make patches. Okay, I kind of the patch is a little logical. Oh, I also make this, and they're like, "What? You do what?" Like,
You should tell. Oh, I make stuffed toys.
yes,
You know, like
yep,
your
yeah. I do pet
oh,
products.
what's that other? Yes, exactly. I was like saying your dogs, your doggies.
Yes, I should actually. You know what? I should make the dogs into stuffed toys.
Yes,
That would be
that
actually a
would be a
really good
way better
idea.
pickup line. You know what you should do? You should like totally knock off all the other knockoffs and knocked off the original where they had the corgi and the tissue paper comes out of his
Uh
butt.
huh. Yeah.
That's the
Do that
one.
one. Yep.
Knock off the knockoff of the knockoff and then make it your own and
Yes,
then
it's
call it
fine.
an original.
Hey, 10% change is not illegal. Uh,
Good morning, Kushida-san.
oh, he joins us. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning,
evening.
Kushida-san.
Oh my gosh, I'm so bad. I mean, I've been hitting the gym hard, man. I like. Okay,
Mhm.
by the way, when are we? Before we get into the big chat, it is August 22nd,
September 1st.
September 1st. We're kicking off September 1st.
September
We're doing
1st.
our
Yeah.
challenge, so we have one more show.
Yeah. September
So next
1st.
show we're gonna discuss the outline. So the 29th, the outline of the Mark Jonathan
Hmm.
challenge.
Yeah. I'm like right now I was looking at kind of where I'm at physically, and like my cut, my shape, my size, right, it's exactly where I need to be. The moment I pull the carb, it's going to be actually it's going to be relatively smooth sailing because I've already
Yeah.
kind of set myself up nicely to where that carb kind of cushion can just go.
Yeah, for me too. I'm kind of in the same way because I've kind of been getting prepped myself, same as you. Like, I think my physical structure, my like, I can see where I'm going to cut down to, and I'm like, okay, my
Hmm.
bone muscle structure, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
I've pretty much been in like wild bulk mode, like trying to put on
Hmm.
as much as I can. Actually only, it's really weird. I'm kind of stalled out a bit, which is surprising. I'm like kind of floating between 82 and 83 right now.
Mm.
So I
Mhm.
think I'm going to try to cut. I think when I cut down to like 80, 79 to 80, I'll be good.
Yeah. I'll
That'll
probably
put
have to
me.
go buy a scale, like, because I do want to go buy a scale anyways, but I'll probably go buy a scale like end of the month, like before as we go into the comp and go into the challenge, I'll go get a scale.
What I'm
So
probably going to do
I
is
can
this.
kind of.
I'm going to go get a body fat analysis because they've got
Mhm.
one you can do at the gym here, and it's
Right.
like $8 to get it done.
Mm.
And I'm going to go do it. It's like you actually get on like the proper like full
Yeah,
on
you kind of
clinic,
sit
like
there and
the
they kind of.
yeah, they
Yeah,
do the whole thing like it's, and then I'll do it on the front end, do it on the back end, just so I can kind of get good results. See what I
they hit you with something, and
yeah.
come out and you're like Captain America.
Yeah, yeah, gamma rays or whatever. Oh, so that's it. So next week, give you an idea of a topic. We're gonna be talking about the kicking off that. It's not gonna all be exercise and workout. We'll talk about the kind of parameters, how we're gonna set up the rules
Yeah.
and what we can do. And if you guys want to play along, we'd love to have you join because it's not like who has the best photo on the backside or who lost, who fits into a pair of 30 jeans, or whatever. It's
Yes.
about like, you know, moving the needle,
Hmm.
becoming healthier, starting to set good habits in your
Yeah.
eating. Exercise, I think we've got it, but it's like the eating counts so much
Hmm.
for what. And if you guys want to join along, we would love to
Yeah.
have you join
I
us on
mean,
the
we
challenge.
we love eating too. We love eating. We love drinking. So this is really going to be a challenge. Um,
Mm.
but it's for a good cause, so we can drink and eat more when we all hang out.
Yep. So it's going
And
to be
don't
September. Yeah.
worry,
September,
we're not
October.
gonna we're not gonna turn the hopped up, Insta into like a soft core,
Yeah. No, we're not going to be.
homoerotic.
Yeah. We're not going to do a guys only OF, kind of thing. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
that's right. No leopard print
Yeah.
pants.
There will be no, yeah,
Panties, I mean.
nothing,
No leopard
nothing
print
leopard
underwear.
print, tiger, no, no
That's right.
animal print, period.
No, yeah, no prints.
And no banana hammocks. Just saying. Jeez.
Okay.
Sad that we
That's
have
I'm
to.
gonna stop while I'm ahead.
Sad that we have to really just do that. Really. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
on that note, let's dive into our big topic of the show. What we
Mhm.
promised. The potential fall of China's economy, or the potential. I wouldn't say fall. I would say pretty big collapse.
Yes.
And this one's been a long time coming. So, if you guys know, if you guys do know, Mal, I hear the keyboard is just typing right now, switching from Chinese to English keyboard mode. You guys know, like China's had a goal to grow their economy year over year for a
Yeah.
very long time, and they've been successful at doing that on paper. I'm not going to dive into reality, but on paper, they've been moving that needle every single year. They've
Yeah.
been trying to hit what 5%, I think, something like that. Don't quote me
Something
on that
like
number.
that.
Like a 5% year over year growth for the economy, which
Hmm.
anybody who knows basic economics, like you
Yeah.
cannot sustain year over year growth.
Oh, and it's like
Period.
clockwork too. It's the same amount like clockwork every single year.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people in the world, the World Bank, the U.S., many countries have claimed. Again, I'm not an economist, but they've been claiming that there's a lot of currency manipulation to make
Mhm.
those numbers happen. Basically, devaluation of Chinese currency. They're devaluing their own currency to be able to continue to sell their goods cheaply, exported
Mhm.
out.
Oh,
So
of course. Yeah,
and it's done at the
100%.
government level. Again,
Mhm.
I want to start this conversation with you and I both have a lot of like friends that are
Yeah.
from China, Chinese friends. I have yet to meet someone from China. It's
Mhm.
not a fantastic person. Like Chinese people are fantastic. We're talking about government policies, the high level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the setup. They've been doing this for a very long time. For those of you that don't know, I think we touched on this in a show previous. in Asia, wealth, this is heavily cultural. And after me moving here, I've seen this just, it's so super cultural that wealth is tied to home ownership. Stability is tied to home ownership.
Yes.
Um, Real estate,
Status is tied to home ownership.
absolutely. I mean, more than anything else, more than your car you drive, more than
Mhm.
the bags you carry, more than the brand names you wear, which are all, I would
I
say,
mean, if you're a
amplified in
guy,
Asia.
yes.
Yeah. Like,
If you're of the male sex, yes.
yeah, if you want to be considered a good catch, stable, whatever,
Mhm.
for dating and marrying, and of course, the
Yes.
topic of marriage will pop up from first date in a lot of
Oh, you have an
cases.
apartment? Oh, is
Yeah,
it your own? Are you
you own it,
renting?
you rent it, you own like, and it's just like literally.
If you're renting, you might as well just go live with your parents because they look down on you. Trust me, Hong Kong girls,
Well, that's,
cheers
I
to
say it's Hong
you.
Kong. I mean, I think definitely there are levels. Like if you're renting versus buying, having your own place does count for a lot. But
Oh, do I get to go gloves off against like girls from Hong Kong?
yes, you can. We can talk
Yes.
about it. Because we're going to talk about like specifically China. So, um, and Hong Kong's pretty much China now. Oh, I said
Just
it. Oh
another
my god.
city.
Anyway, so the big deal is home ownership is so
Mhm.
core to stability. Consider when I say you presenting yourself as a stable person, like having a house,
Right.
having real estate, owning your property, owning a
Mhm.
home is so freaking huge.
Yeah.
I mean, more than I would say almost anything else
Yeah.
because there is no credit here. You can't just go like in the US, in many places in the West, you have credit ratings and reports and you can go get access to money
Mhm.
based on your credit rating, which is also based on how well you've managed your money in the past. Basically it's you've done well in the past, therefore you're going to do well in the
Right.
future. And they look at things like your income and all that, how much they'll give you, but your score is your credit worthiness. For those of you who don't live in the States, there's FICO score. There's actually three reporting agencies that pile in to give you that number. So if you have a house, it's like your credit. You have to have real estate to be able to borrow money against and things like that. So
Mhm.
those are big things. Those are absolutely big things. And actually, when you get married, having the wife's name put on the property. If you're a guy, I'm speaking for a guy standpoint, is another big
Mhm.
thing too. Is like, hey, add me to the house, right? That's like that lock. It's like the lock
You
in, right?
you you better put her name on the house and you better remove yours.
Yeah, oh, that too. Yeah, like
Oh yeah. You
sometimes
you
it's
better pay
put the
for that
house
house. Yeah, you better pay for the
in.
house and you better put it in her name and you better remove yours too.
Mhm.
And you better buy a minivan so I can drive, so I can ride in somebody else's sports car. You loser. Sorry, hitting a little close to home.
Yeah,
little,
a little
little
close.
close to home here. Woo.
That felt really personal to you. Was
That
that
was personal.
okay? Anyway, so yeah, this gives you an idea. One little sets you up, and this is a Westerner's perspective of
Mhm.
being here. Now, again, it doesn't mean that every single person here, you know, like every single person you meet is gonna be like, oh, you don't have a house. Well, no, I'm saying it's culturally acceptable, and I'm telling you,
Mhm.
I think at this point they say like the percentage of wealth in China, specifically in real estate,
Mhm.
is over 75%. I'm
Mhm.
saying literally the percentage of investments. I mean, talk about lack of diversification in investments. That 75% of the investment wealth in China,
Mhm.
over that number, of course, again, you always have to take whatever numbers you're getting from there because those numbers are reported by the government, not actually, but that's probably a conservative number, is in real estate, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that gives you an idea. We're not talking about stocks, bonds, crypto, none of that junk, right?
Mhm.
Like literally it's all in real estate and it's
Yeah.
because it's so cultural, because it's the thing, that's what you do. So
Yeah.
because of this, for a very long time, pre-pandemic, pre all this stuff, you had been buying homes.
Mhm.
Properties would come up, they would start, these developers would build, and you'd be able to buy in, you get to move in. Well, at some point, obviously they realized, well, this real estate thing's so good, and this is probably about 15, 20 years ago, we can pre-sell these homes. So like
Yes.
they started selling about 2 decades ago
Mhm.
homes that weren't even built yet.
Yeah.
You
And a lot of them don't even have a built date.
right.
Like they're sold on this expectation that it will be built. There's like this pipe dream that it will be built. Like
Right.
there's so many sites by developers who are still in business that have been just sitting there, dead,
Oh,
like
this,
just
yeah.
abandoned projects. So like guys, this is nothing new. Like they'll sell you this, and then again, this is where the Ponzi scheme kind of aspect gets into it. They'll just roll it into the next one, roll into the next one, and when people try to go and ask, like, "Oh, what happened to my house? What happened to my house?" Well, should have got liability insurance. I guess
Well,
this is on you.
and
Like,
this was okay pre-pandemic.
yeah,
This was this Ponzi scheme. We're going to call it a Ponzi scheme because that's actually what it
yeah,
is. Like
that's
it's
really
just
what
it's
it is. Yeah.
self-perpetuating. You go and you put a deposit down on a house. You
Hmm.
start paying for the house. You personally are paying the developer on a
Yes.
monthly basis a a check. The house doesn't even exist yet.
Hmm.
When they get enough of you, they'll start to break ground. When they get enough of you, they'll build up some. And they'll start this to a point. And once they get to a point, the developer can now leverage what they own. Let's say it's a concrete shell.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just the ground's broke and it's built up to the sky. It's 40 stories tall, 50 stories
Yeah.
tall, and
Scaffolding,
it's
and that's it.
just concrete with scaffolding around it.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like no glass, no nothing, nothing on the
Hmm.
inside, not even elevators yet, right?
Yeah.
And when they get to a certain point, the developer can now leverage that property
Yeah.
to borrow to say, okay, remember, real estate is credit. Well, I've got this. The people have paid for it to this point,
Yeah.
and they're going to keep paying me. So I'm going to use this property that I own, I'm the developer, to go start another one.
Yeah.
But now they stop working on this one. They're focusing on the next
Hmm.
one. And they're like, hey,
That's right.
put a deposit down on this next one we're going to do. And this
Yeah.
goes on and on. Well,
Hmm.
pandemic hits, and all of a sudden you can't get raw materials. Labor, of course, the country shuts down, right? They're still doing a zero COVID policy there.
Yeah.
Like
Still
labor,
testing your fish.
yeah, labor, all this stuff. So now these projects are delayed indefinitely, year over
Hmm.
year over year. But you, as the person that bought it in this project, are still paying your monthly fee. There's no like, you only pay this much up to the concrete. Oh, and then when the glass gets in, you have to pay this much more. Oh, once we start building the elevators, it's this much. No, it's just every month you have to keep
Yeah.
paying.
You're already paying your house payments and you're not even living there.
Right.
It's not even built. You can't even go in.
No,
Like you can't the time you can't even go see it,
right.
right?
And a decade plus ago, they were already building complete cities that were complete, done, like actually done,
Hmm.
done, that
Yeah.
had almost no one living there.
Yeah.
Like they
Because it
called them
was
ghost cities. You can
Yeah,
Google the
they were
stories;
built
they're
they were
out there.
built so far out and they had no infrastructure and there was no way for you to get from, because the biggest one was the one close by Beijing, that they were like touting it to be like, oh, the perfect way to relieve congestion from Beijing. And they just put it in the middle of nowhere. They put it in the middle of nowhere. There was no major highways in and out to get to there from Beijing. There was no way to do it. Like there was like two roads and it was like one way roads
But
that went from
it didn't
Beijing to
matter.
this one like mega city.
It did matter, these mega cities, because it was a way for you to put your wealth into something,
Hmm. Yeah.
an appreciative product. Because what they would do is this: they would sell your house. Let's say, hey, if you guys buy this property right now, it's $500,000 US. I'm just gonna use US
Hmm.
dollars because I don't want to talk RMB. Let's say $500,000 US if you buy in, and that's what it's gonna be. But when we finish this project, any of the ones we haven't sold, we're selling those for 650,000 US. So
Right.
you put in your 500,000. When that building's done, the value of your unit's now 650,
Yeah.
because that's what the houses are being sold for. So you automatically have at least equity. Like there's
Hmm.
a line of equity they give you
Yeah.
because of the valuation of what they're going to be
Hmm.
selling any
Yeah.
available units. So you kind of get an idea of why it's like, okay, well, this isn't such a bad idea. But you start thinking at some point, these literal ghost cities where
Hmm.
you'll have, like, I'm serious, like 150, 200,000 units of
Yeah.
homes, and maybe they're 5% occupied with people
Yeah.
because people are just simply putting their wealth in there. I will tell you, this happens here in Taiwan as well. Like,
Hmm.
absolutely, but not to this extent, not to this
Oh yeah. Of
development chain
course. Yeah.
reaction extent, because there are some caps here that prevent developers from doing
Hmm.
what they do. And to Mark's point, there's some developers that just crap out. Like literally, they start the project, can't finish it. There's a few of them
Hmm.
I've seen around here that have just been dead, and you can tell they started them back in the '80s and they just stopped, and they're still
Yeah.
standing because they were like 75% done.
Right.
So now you put your money in, you're paying for something you can't get. Now a bunch of people have homes already. They're saying they're empty because it's gone up in value, right? More houses, they keep going up in price. So it's like, hey, my $500,000 investment is worth $1,000,000 now, $1,000,000 US. Heck yeah, man! And they've been paying on it, paying it down, so their equity is like big, and they can borrow against that equity if they need to. But
Hmm.
it's a bubble, right? Because nobody lives there. Like
Yep.
homes are only valued that if you could sell it, right?
Hmm.
So here comes the pandemic, takes everything, all the legs out from underneath this. The project starts stalling. Everybody's over leveraged. Companies like Evergrande, which we were talking about here, has over leveraged themselves like 5 or 6 projects down the line. Like they've taken this money to do this one and this one to do this one and this one and this one. And they still haven't finished this one before, but they've got 6 more that are daisy chained off this
Yep.
one.
Yep. This is kind of like a long setup for us to kind of
Mm-hmm.
explain kind of what it's what 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 this means is, so if one project doesn't get paid, right? If there's no money coming in one project, then the next project got no money, and then the next project got no money. And they're saying that all of these projects all hinge on one payment.
Yeah.
If you're one payment out, then everything else is screwed.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. These people in China, you know, um, they couldn't get their money out. They because of the pandemic, because of a lot of other social reasons, they could not go and
If you miss
withdraw
your
their
payment, you miss
funds.
a couple payments, you'll lose your house. You'll lose all the
Yeah,
money you put in.
yeah.
It's
But then
gone.
like, so they couldn't. Their apartments weren't getting billed.
Mm,
These poor people weren't. They don't have money to pay it,
mm.
and the money that they would have had to pay it is being seized by the banks.
This is part 2. So
This
first
is
off,
part two,
you
right?
see how the housing has just gone out of control, and the game could have kept going if it wasn't for this
Right.
pandemic, right? So
Yeah.
all of a sudden now everything screeches to a halt. They still are forcing these payments,
Yeah.
but
So
the projects aren't being built, and
that's right.
eventually people have had enough. It's like, look,
Mhm.
I've been paying for 4 years, 5 years. You told me this project
Yeah.
would take 2 to get done. I'm 5 years in because we're 3 into the pandemic now, and I'm still looking at a concrete shell
Hmm. Hmm.
with no date
Yep.
because you're the first project and there's 5 or 6 that are leveraging that project,
Yeah.
right? You multiply that by hundreds of projects and you end up with
Yeah.
Evergrande right now, which give you the exact number. It is, let me tell you, where's that? They're around $300 billion
With a B.
with a B, and that's
US
USD.
dollars.
Or if you're GBP, it's 228, but I think that number's off because it's an old number. And this was in 2021. Based on, let's see, 21, they lost 46 billion. And then they've also
B.
pulled themselves out of any kind of public. Right now, they're saying, let me look at the newest one. Everybody's saying the liabilities are around 300 billion is what their risk at this point,
Hmm.
because people are finally standing up and saying we're going to stop paying our mortgages. Now, the banks. Here's the second piece.
Yeah.
So the first
Yeah.
piece is this incredibly massive housing crisis that basically, if these things start failing, the value of homes are going to drop like a rock for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Everybody.
That's number one.
And remember,
because
over 75% of the invested wealth in China is in real estate. So that means everyone's wealth just
yeah.
bombs, dude, bottoms out, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it's so impactful to the economy.
Yeah.
Now the banks.
Now the banks. So going back to Herman's point, too big to fail. Now the difference. Now a lot of Americans listen to this. We've heard too big to fail, especially during the '08 Obama years. Too
Lehman
big to fail,
Brothers,
too big to
right?
fail, right? Too big to fail. But the problem was, let's say AIA, AIG went out of business, right? They were the ones that went out of business. Was it
Lehman
AI?
Brothers. No, Lehman Brothers crashed and burned.
So they, but it didn't affect the government of the United States, right? This is where the difference is with China. China's original stance on all of this was, oh, whatever, if it fail, it fail. But what it realized was, because this is such a linchpin, that if Evergrande were to collapse, everything around it would then collapse, and then it would literally send the country into the dark ages.
Now remember, we're not
So-
talking about just Evergrande here. We're talking about
Yeah.
like there's like 6 major
That's right.
real estate developers that are all in this same position right now. Evergrande
Yeah.
being the largest, but there's like 5 others that are in various levels. I mean, in the billions of dollars each,
That's
like
right.
tens of billions, some are hundreds of billions that all have it. So we're probably looking at darn near, I mean, we're probably closer to 1 trillion than we are to less than 1
Yeah.
trillion.
And remember, if you're a company in China, especially at that size, the government has control in there.
Yeah.
So
They have an advisory board that literally lives in your office.
there's government in those companies. So now the Chinese government has put themselves found themselves into be a very peculiar situation. If they let this go, which then starts this chain reaction, with now then dovetails into the banks, which means people are not being able to withdraw their money. People's life savings have disappeared overnight. Um, they were being lied to when they opened accounts, savings accounts, being told it was a high yield, kind of high interest savings account of like 4 to 5% of interest just on savings. But what they didn't say was it's an investment savings account.
Yeah.
So they're being sold your savings account, but as a investment product. So they're using kind of this kind of snaky language to basically rip people off, and so people can't get their money
Well, and guess where these banks were putting their investment money? In
in the real
Evergrande,
estate.
in
That's
real
right.
estate, in all these projects because it appreciated so much. I mean, you
Yeah,
remember over 75% of the assets or the like investment money,
that's right.
invested wealth in
Hmm.
China is in real estate. So what are the banks doing? They're going, well, if I put this money toward this project to get it built, I'll get this return. Cool.
Yep.
You see
Yep.
why now the payments aren't coming in. You see
Hmm.
how it chain reacts back to the banks.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the banks out away from these cities, these rural banks, these smaller
Hmm.
cities where there are less oversight, less people watching, maybe they have like 5 or 6 branches. They, which they're not allowed to, were taking remote deposits from outside their area. The rule is you can only take a deposit from the city or zone or municipality that you
Right.
operate in.
Yeah.
So basically, depositors come in, they give you your money, whatever. To Mark's point, these super high yield returns, they were getting 4 or 5% on a savings account. Of course, they're getting way more on the real estate when
Oh
it was still
yeah, for
going.
sure. Yeah.
They were starting to take online. So a guy in Beijing orders something from halfway around the country in some small town because the bank's
Yeah.
offering some good deal and he puts his money in. So they're taking deposits that aren't even local anymore.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. And so now this is to be honest, the Evergrande situation is bad, but this is the real crisis now. So just like how a lot of the banks in the United States work, there's no money in the bank. Like
Mm.
they're just it's ones and zeros. So they also have the same type of like big lending where they can just kind of make it out of thin air, right? And give that's why these people's savings is gone, just zapped, disappeared. So one of the big rural bank branches, their owner decided to take everybody's savings, cash it out, and flee the country. So
Yeah.
So that's what's going on, and it's gonna have some very interesting side effects for a lot of people, not just in China, but really outside of China. China's Belt and Road Initiative, you're already starting to see some big issues with it. Sri Lanka was the first one to go bankrupt. Uh, Also because like what they don't tell you is not only do they have to, big part of their national debt was also for all this infrastructure that China has been building for them. So they kind of set it up in certain ways where, you have to pay these high interest debt to China. If not, they'll just seize whatever they built, like ports or whatever. And
Yeah.
you're starting
And
to
that's what
see
the
this
Belt and
now
Roads,
with,
they come in, they'll build
that's
museums,
right.
ports, real like roads, highways, public transportation, things that
Yep.
these
At
lesser
a very
developed
discounted
countries.
price. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great deal. Like, I mean, getting access to money if
Hmm.
you're a underdeveloped country or not a wealthy country, you're not like, one of the top countries. Like, yeah, this would be great. I can put in public transportation. It's going to help my country grow. It's going to be a good deal. But there
Yep.
is things like if you fault on this, we take it. If you fault on this, we get your airport.
Yeah. Yeah. We get your port. Your port belongs to
Yeah,
us.
your port.
Yeah. It's it has so the Sri Lanka's the first, Pakistan's the next.
Yeah.
So they're saying Pakistan right now has they have filed for assistance from the IMF, and the IMF told them you need to renegotiate your terms with China before we will send you aid. So let's see how that's going.
Yep. So you kind of get an idea what's going on and what's happening with these banks. This is the really interesting part is the people who've deposited, even the local people. So like the remote people knew maybe they were breaking the rules, right? Because they
Right.
know you can't do remote deposits. So they're
Mm-hmm.
playing fast and loose and all right, well, all right, man, I lost my money. Yeah, it sucks,
Yeah.
but there's not much I can do because if I go and try to claim that
Right.
I had it, I'll admit that I was breaking the law. But the local people who are banking in this bank, they can't get their money now,
That's
right?
right.
They can't get their money out. And literally, you go in and the bank's like, oh, we've had an accounting issue and we can't do it. And it's been months now and they still can't go. They're in the street literally protesting. And China's in some areas, there's video. You can Google this. Google
Mm-hmm.
tanks in front of banks in China. Just Google that term and you will see video that's been snuck out of China where they are literally sending tanks in. Now, they'll say, "Oh, this was just a military exercise or
Training
whatever." Yeah, training
exercise.
exercise or whatever. But
Yes.
you
It's a
decide. You're
parade.
you're all smart people. You make your own decision on that. You. I'm not going to tell you how to think. You can make your own intelligent decisions. You're all
That's right.
incredibly smart. Like
That's right.
you figure it out.
These
But when the banking protests are there with people trying to get money out of the bank, all of a sudden the military shows up. I'm just saying. I mean, it's not a conspiracy, but hey. Anyway, long story short, you see what's happening. Banks are failing and real estate's crashing.
oh
So
yeah, fun times.
fun time. So what this means for all of us? Well, you look at the U.S. like almost 30, a hair under 30% of U.S.'s imports come from China.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak on a lot of other countries, but if you look at how that would impact the U.S., if you look at just imported products, if there is an impact, if the currency shifts, if there's massive inflation in China that shifts the RMB up to the point where the products increase in price even more, you can see a massive problem. If you're going to see like huge economic failure, where things have to reset, that could change
Like
things.
like a great reset.
Right. And I think just this last week, 5 companies delisted from the NASDAQ because, and these are all Chinese companies, including Alibaba, one of the biggest online, I mean, absolutely biggest online marketplaces. There's AliExpress, which is consumer, and then Alibaba, which is like a B2B purchasing site,
Right.
that they willingly delisted themselves because the stock exchange was asking, say, hey, if you're listed on the NYSE or you're listing on the NASDAQ or anything, you have to have a third party company come in to do your audits. They
Well, you
refused.
mean they finally grew a pair to say that?
Well, they finally said, hey,
Wow.
you got to come, like, we got to come audit you guys. And they're like, no. And they're like, well, if you don't, we're going to delist you. And they're like, nah, it's cool. We're out. And they delisted themselves. And that's like the first 5. And we're talking majors. I mean, Alibaba's
Yeah.
unbelievably huge company. And there's another, they say under somewhere like up to like, I've heard 200, 300, I've heard even 500. I don't know how many companies that are on potentially have like Chinese government advisory board basically is running the company.
Right.
So they're all in that same band that are all potentially going to delist or be delisted. And they say it's like
Mhm.
$1.6 trillion worth of money could disappear from the stock exchange in the US
Right.
alone just because of the delistings that will happen. And that's
Mhm.
just money coming out of the stock exchange, no longer being invested. So to give you an idea, if you wonder like how this impacts the US, and I can speak to the US, I don't know much about other countries like
Right.
EU, but I guarantee you it's going to impact everybody the same way. Like it's not going to be a good thing. So this is what we're up against when we look at everything. We're dealing with an internal economic crisis, and this is this massive real estate bubble that is going to potentially pop. And I think they're just trying to kick the can down the road, right?
Well, I think it's also like I think there's 2 components to this, right? There's the trying to kick the can down the road issue, but then there's also the very cultural issue of, well, I wouldn't say cultural, it's the very communist issue of like, we cannot change our minds because they're set in whatever path they're set down, and
Mm-hmm.
if they change their minds, it's not the people who may view them as weak, it's their internal party members may view them as weak. So it's not so much of a of an issue like, being in Hong Kong and living in China, and lived in China for a little bit of time, and spent significant amount of time working there. A lot of times they know a lot of times like their policy is not working, but they can't shift it because they're so invested in it. Like, do you uh, behind closed doors, I highly doubt that the Communist Party of China thinks the zero COVID policy is a good idea,
But it's
right?
what is it? Sunk cost fallacy. I think's
Yeah.
the
That's
that
number one,
the mindset
right?
is we've already done it, we've already invested so much into
Yeah,
it, so therefore we can't pull out of this.
exactly.
Like we're already
Yeah.
too far down the road. And the thing is, it is called a sunk cost fallacy for a reason. Like in
Hmm.
reality, if you're going down a road and you see it's messed up, it will almost always cost you more if you continue. And to cut your losses now
Yeah,
and pivot is always better. Um,
exactly.
it's a thing. I
Well,
mean,
well, that and also like, you
it's
know,
also pride in face too.
there's now like, what would the story be, right? What would the party line be now? All of a sudden, it's gone. Like, to be honest, they had an opportunity to turn this around when, uh, you know, Omnicron or whatever, Megatron was running around rampant, and that was the mild form. When everybody was like, you know what, we're coming out of it. They could have been the first ones to say, yeah, you know what, you're right. And they could, nope, nope, nope. They
Yeah.
doubled down, just like the Hong Kong government, you know. And so, hey, as beloved words of DJ Khaled, you played yourself.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
And
So,
here's where we are now. As of this last week, the government kind of like very akin to what the U.S. has done, except the U.S. is going a different direction with this. They've actually the government has decided to reinvest even more money and give a very massive cash injection to the real estate market to restart it, to get it out of its thing, to get these projects moving forward. And that's coming from the government to these major real estate companies to try to get that machine going again. And from what I understand, I don't know, don't quote me on this. I think I saw something today or yesterday about maybe even freezing interest rate or dropping interest rates again, lowering interest rates, which we all saw where we are with inflation, continued times with extremely low interest rates. You're going to have that rebound. It's always the case. If you look at historical trends, it's always when they've been sat for so low for so long, you'll see that swing up. And that's why, at least in the US and almost every Western country, you're seeing them raise their interest rates to counteract inflation. It's going to slow down that rampant grab of cash and spending money and doing things like that. It's going to slow
right.
down things and it's going to counteract that inflation. But what's happening in China is they're going the other direction. They're actually lowering the rates and throwing more money out there. I think
I mean,
Japan is also still
well,
holding the rates low.
Japan's been, in this deflation economy since the 90s.
Yeah,
So
true. Very
let's
true.
this is a whole different
That's a
animal
different one,
here.
yeah.
This
But
is a whole different animal
but
here.
again, from the double down standpoint, instead of saying, you know what, we're going to make an example out of Evergrande. Boom, the rest of you guys were going to keep going, but you guys got to fall. They're
Yeah.
not like kind of like Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers was like, we're like the SEC and everybody's like, we're not going to bail you out. You're
Yeah.
the example.
Yeah.
You're
We
you're
are
the
tar and
example.
feathering you.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys are toast. You're
Yeah.
toast when we're done.
Yeah.
And they were, and they still to this day like Lehman Brothers. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you say
Yeah.
the name. You're like,
It's
oh.
there's two. There's Enron and
Yeah.
then there's the Lehman
Well,
Brothers.
Enron was a freaking
We will always remember these
full.
two names.
Yes. So those were the ultimate scapegoats. But what's not happening is that's not happening there. They're doubling down and they're bailing these companies out because remember, you have an internal advisory board that's the party that's in there. So
Yes.
they'd have to admit that they screwed themselves up or weren't paying attention or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, of course. And these are all President Poo's people, his
Yep.
minions, because hey, he had to do that anti-corruption, right? So he put his own people in there. So when you put his own people in there and it still failed, then what are you gonna say? Like again, it goes back to they're so invested in this now. There's no coming out of it. It's
Yeah.
just like the Hong Kong government right now, right? You look at everything that's been happening after 2019, they can't pull themselves out no matter who is in charge because it's been so screwed since 2019 that there's no coming back.
Yeah.
All 2019 did in Hong Kong, it didn't help anything, right? All it did was it took the mask off the Hong Kong government. They never cared about you in the first place. And now they openly don't care about you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's so funny. Like I see all my dear friends in Hong Kong supposed, oh man, the government XYZ. What are you surprised? Like, oh man, my favorite celebrity. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe that. He's like supporting China. You mean the people who act for a living?
Yeah.
Really, bro? Come on, man. Come on.
So hope you guys have a little bit. We kept it real high level. I don't want to dive
Yeah.
too deep in the numbers. I gave ranges. I'm not going to like Go through very simple, quick Google searches will get
Hmm.
you a lot of good information to back this up. But we want to kind of be as higher level as we could to give you an idea that there's big things that are happening, and now it's tied into the
Yes.
global economy. And you think things are bad already. The concern is this for me: when you're in a bad financial place, what are you going to do? You might want to do heck, man, I love my country, but the U.S. is also known to cause distractions to distract people away from problems that are happening, right?
Right.
It's like, hey, look at this shiny thing over here when something's happening. So you never know what a major country is going to do to try to distract its people from an internal problem.
Hmm.
So just be mindful when you look at this thing on a global scale, the potential impact of everything, how we're all so interconnected now. Like, gone are the days where somebody in one country does something and it doesn't impact anybody else. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it will affect things. So like, just guys, you need to keep an eye on it. I mean, like,
like an insurrection in
don't
the
go.
Republic of
Yeah.
Congo, like last year, affected aluminum prices worldwide dramatically. They went up like in double digit percentage.
Hmm.
In
Yeah.
the Republic of Congo, which is a small little country, but that's the global impact that any country can have on global supply chain at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, it'll affect a lot of things, but I think um the difference is I think in the next couple years it's going to be pretty important. Like, it'll be pretty indicative of how this is all going to play out.
Yeah.
We won't see it this year, we won't see it next year, but in the next few years we're definitely going to see it.
Yeah. If you guys want some
There's
good
a
stuff, Stephen Graham is good. If you guys haven't followed him, check out Stephen Graham. And what's the other one? Global. What's the other YouTube channel?
oh I was just watching him the other day. It was global something.
Global something. It's Stephen
Yeah.
Graham and Global. Let me see.
He was the YouTube kept on censoring him because he was showing tanks rolling down the street.
Yeah.
Well, not censoring him, age gating him. You
Let's
found
see.
him?
I'm
Global
looking.
something?
Looking global. No.
GSR, GBRS,
GBR.
Global Response Group.
He shows up in my feed even though I don't sub to him. Anyway, of course he's not gonna be in my feed right now. But anyway, Stephen Graham's fantastic. He has some really, really good videos on this if you want to
Hmm.
learn. I'm scrolling. Oh, Business Basics is one.
Hmm.
Believe it or not, the channel's called Business Basics. He has about almost 500,000 subs, about 425,000, and he really has some fantastic videos about what's going on with the economic crisis. In fact, his whole channel's almost on that. So Business Basics is one, and Stephen Graham's another.
Yeah.
That are really, I think, solid channels
Hmm.
to give you some good information about this and how it could and will impact all of us. So,
Yeah.
and just educate yourself. Like, get it from a lot
Hmm.
of sources. Don't just get it from those. Like, go look around, get it from every source possible, look at from every angle, and make your own decision. I mean, we're not telling you how to think, and none of us are right. Like, there's
Yes.
always more to a story. There's always more you just don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
Mark doesn't know, and you always find out what 6 months later, right? That's
Yes. We're not telling you how to think. That's for
no,
sure.
absolutely not. So
But if you like something, you're wrong.
yeah, shh, we're gonna lose subs, man.
if you
Quiet.
if you like if you like bubble tea, then you're wrong.
If you don't like bubble tea, you're wrong. I will stand by that one.
I don't know. I kind of grown out of that phase, the whole bubble tea phase. I like to tease the producer about it though. Every time the producer gets bubbles in her tea, and I'll be like, "Oh, look at this ABG over here. Oh man, sipping on that bubble
Hey man,
tea.
I'm not gonna lie.
ABG,
There's
flip your
some
hair."
really good brown sugar bubble tea here. I'm not gonna lie.
I speaking of brown sugar bubble tea, and we're gonna change the topic. Kind of we can close it out with something a little bit more casual. I'm gonna go cafe hopping this Sunday.
Really?
One of my friends here, Sean, he is a kind of foodie. Um, so he goes to all these really hipster places, kind of like in Namba, Shinsaibashi area. So I'm gonna have to go and do a bunch of photos about all the cafes that we go to. So
Now,
I
like
may
what?
be
Like Cat
super
Cafe,
wired.
Hedgehog Cafe, those kind of
No, like
cafes?
coffee places.
Oh, just coffee. Okay.
Like hipster
I thought it was
coffee
be like those like
cafes.
Hedgehog Cafe where you go in, and you can pet hedgehogs and
I found the Otter Cafe.
whoa.
Yo,
Slow your
yeah,
roll.
I found
Slow.
the Otter
Hold the
Cafe.
wait. The Otter Cafe? Like
The
literally like
Otter
sea
Cafe.
otters. Do they
Like
just run
little
around?
river
River
otters.
otters. They just
Yes. Yes. I
what?
found the Otter Cafe in Nipponbashi. It's actually really close to the Owl Cafe. So like
I
that whole area has got all like the animal cafes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, I might have to break my no crazy cafe rules and go to the Otter Cafe.
The Otter Cafe is the crazy cafe rule.
No, I have a rule. It's like no,
Masaki
don't
is right. The maid cafes, man.
I got maid cafes at my front
Come
door. I can go
on.
see. There's like two or three within a few blocks of me right here. I don't need to go to a maid
Right?
cafe.
Right, Masaki? This is crazy. Like, the Otter Cafe is the crazy cafe, but the maid cafe, right?
Well, I guess because I'm
That's the
spoiled. I mean,
normal
like
one.
literally, I walk past them like, I see the maid cafes here all the time. So the Buff Girls
Oh man.
Cafe.
Dude, like there's like a like there's like a not just a buff girls cafe, there's like a chubby girls cafe.
Okay, I believe that.
Yeah, where they all have like the lightest one starts at like 80 plus kilograms. The lightest one.
At what height?
Well, Japanese girls, bro.
Okay, so like
Like
100.
5'2".
Yeah, like 145 and 80. Like
Yeah.
what? Are we talking about here?
Yeah. So apparently they were telling me that they do like a sing and dance in a show where they all jump together and then they all land at the same time on the ground. And then apparently it kind of makes the whole floor kind of shake. And so they had an accident one time where they actually had to reinforce that whole floor. So when they do this, it doesn't break through the ceiling. Look, man, I was told Nomura-san told me this.
Yeah. And if we go there, we walk in the door, they're like, Mark, welcome back.
Oh my
What?
goodness. I'm like, oh, hey,
No.
hey, hey,
No.
hey.
Hey.
Hey,
Otters are
wrong
pretty
mark.
cool though. I would love to go. Like, I will totally go and chill with an otter.
Yeah, Otter Cafe? Sure.
No cat cafes. I'm allergic as all get out. So
Okay,
like
no
a
cat
cat cafe
cafes.
is also known as the asthma attack cafe for me. So
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, so I did find the Otter Cafe, so I know exactly where it is. I didn't know it was on that corner, but I know exactly where it is.
So FOV Airsoft is asking, is like, hey, how's the new company going? Fantastic, man. I'm doing great. We were talking about it earlier. I got some new products coming. I was teasing them that are actually not Airsoft related, but the Airsoft side is doing fantastic too. So, man, in fact, I need to, dude, you're stateside. I need to get you something. Hit me up, man. Go to YouTube. There's a business contact link. Just pop me on that when we're done. FOV. We'll chat.
Y'all gonna chat.
Yeah. Man, I got to get some product out there so people can use it.
Yes.
Get some content.
yes.
So,
Go ahead, hawk your products, Jono.
no, not my products. I'm trying to get somebody to do a video.
Go ahead. It's all good. Hawk your products. This podcast
Hey.
is brought to you by patchfiend.com.
Hey, man. Never miss an opportunity.
That's right.
The only bad opportunity is the missed opportunity. That's all I'm going to
That's
say. Like,
correct.
if you don't shoot your shot, you got nothing. So,
That's right. That's right.
I've
What's the
seen
worst that
I've
can
seen,
happen?
yeah, what's the worst? It's worse.
She'll just say no.
Hey, remember, if you don't ask, it's always no. If you
That's
do
right.
ask, you have a possibility of a yes. So, Corgi Cafe, I've seen the Corgi Cafes. Yeah. A buddy of mine's got 2 Corgis. He went to Thailand for work and found a Corgi Cafe.
Nice. Well, let's fingers crossed to the country opening up
Yeah,
soon
I
a little
know.
bit more than what it is right now.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, I think because like we were just talking about this the other day. Like now would be a perfect time for tourism. The yen is so low.
Oh, I know, man. Like, the
Now
yen's
is the
super
time
low.
to
I'm
come.
like,
You feel like a
I'm ready.
millionaire if you come here.
I mean, no offense. I want Japan to recover, but I'm also like, please stay low yen so I can come buy some good stuff when I'm there in a couple months.
Yeah, I mean, like I was, it was kind of like a little bit blessing in disguise. Like I'm making yen now, just kind of like as my, it's just what I'm being paid in. But like when I had to do a transfer over from Hong Kong, like the yen was so low that I made money transferring over, and even with the exchange rate, the difference that I had covered the transfer fee.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
So not only was I getting more money, I basically made money even with
Even with the transfer, even with the cost of the wire
fee.
transfer, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause international wires, I think, are like 50 outbound, and then like you had to pay on inbound too. So it can be kind of it's US. I usually pay like 50
Mm.
outbound on US on an international wire, and then you pay like
Yeah.
35 on inbound or something like that, or whatever. It's not cheap. You end up losing a chunk of money because like they get you on that side and they get you on this side too.
Yeah. Well, they gotta make their money, right? They gotta be like,
Mm-hmm. So
that's what it is.
yeah, right now,
Oh.
Herman, the UK shops, man. I was doing an exchange rate check. I couldn't believe that the GBP and the euro both are like almost equal to the dollar now. I was like, huh? Like it used
People
to
who put their
be,
money in the euro just crying.
dude. It
Just
used to be two to
crying.
one. It used to. I remember it was so easy to like do a GBP conversion. I'm like, oh, if you want to do Great British, GBP to US dollars, it's just double it
Mhm.
essentially. No,
No.
I couldn't believe it when I saw. I was like, because actually I was doing a product video on the Novrich pistol. I'm getting ready to get it done, and his stuff's in euros. And I was
Yeah.
pulling up the euro price. I'm like, oh, well, okay, that's euro price. What's it US dollars? I was like, oh, it's just like a couple dollars off. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's actually
okay.
not that different. Like I think we were doing this the currency exchange at the office. I think it was $300 US and it came out to be like 298.
298 or
Yeah.
292 or something.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
because I was doing, what was I doing? I was doing here it is. I was doing a tallying up. I was like, 455 euro is 465 USD. So at $455.90, it ends up being 460. So it's a $6.10 difference off the euro to USD at 400 US dollars, 450 US dollars. So
Hmm.
you're talking what 1.2%
Something like that.
variation. Yeah,
Something low. Now would have been the perfect time to go travel the world
I know, right? If you get
to
paid,
help
if you get paid in USD.
to get to kickstart everybody else's economies. But no, we gotta play this game.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
Anyways,
cool.
hopefully we can all get back to normal soon. We've been
Yeah.
saying this for 3 years now.
Right. Next week, we'll kick off the challenge. For those of you that want to join us, we'd love to
Yes.
have you part of it. We'll kind of lay the ground rules for next week
Mhm.
on what we're gonna do for the Get Fit challenge for the next two
Yeah.
months, 8 week.
Just tag us in your Instagram stories and we will share it.
Yeah, we're not talking like shirts before and after all that junk. I mean, like this is a percentage. This is like you only have to
Yeah.
show your body weight. Like just we're trying to move the percent in the right direction.
Yeah. That's
Right.
right.
So, and
Mhm.
it's just about being healthier, doing things right, trying to
Yeah.
be better.
Hey, but if any of y'all feel confident enough to take off your shirt, do a couple of bathroom selfies,
Yeah. Mark will send you personally a pair of leopard print underwear
I will. I'll try.
that he may or may not have got thrown in his face at a bar in
I was about to
Osaka
say,
last weekend.
at least I can say it's unused, but no, okay.
No, you can't.
I may have to go back and say, hey, bro, sorry, hey,
It's got a handprint smacked on the back already, just full on.
It's got like a sweat stain
And
there,
for anybody like FOV that wasn't here for that part of the show, he's probably wondering exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, if you missed the first third of the show, you're really missing out on the jokes now. So
Yeah, just go back and listen to the first 15 minutes and you'll get it.
15, 20, 30
It
minutes
was
somewhere
it
there.
was
Yeah.
it was my adventures on
Yeah.
a Saturday.
Mark's Saturday adventure. It involved leopard
It
print.
was an adventure, all right.
Yeah.
It was Bon Jovi, leopard print, and dudes taking their clothes off. So
Yeah. I'm gonna
Make of that
change.
what
By
you
the way, I'm
will.
gonna change the title
yeah,
of this.
Bon Jovi, leopard print, and dudes taking.
No,
their
I'm gonna
clothes
give it a
off.
Bon Jovi song name, so it'll be
It's my life.
Young Guns.
Hey,
Double meaning.
Yeah.
Not so Young Guns. Anyway,
Not so
we're gonna
Young
leave
Guns.
it there before this train goes. This bullet train really derails. Oh my gosh, I'm like, wow. Okay, and on that, as always, thank you all for being here with us. You guys are so awesome. We'll see you next week. We'll have a good show. Mark and I are going to brainstorm for some ideas for next week. We're going to keep it a little lighter, I think. I've been looking at there's some interesting food. Maybe we'll do a food show. What do you think?
Yeah. We can
Let's
do that.
just
We
do a
can do that.
little show.
I think we
and
should
tell.
do a food show before we get on our challenge.
That's what I'm
Just kinda
thinking, man.
One
Like,
hurrah!
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's do some cool food we can grab here. You can grab some cool stuff there. We do some show and tell. We'll kind of like talk about it, and then kind of that last yes before we kick off September 1st with the challenge, the food. Weight loss
Yeah,
challenge.
sounds good. I
All
like
right.
that.
Thank you all for being, especially everybody. Love you guys having joining us here every single week. We'll see you next Monday Same bad
Yes.
time, same bad show. Until
Stay
then,
hopped up.
stay
Stay
hopped
hopped up,
up.
everybody. Stay